very often, a bocher has a friend. His friend is a gewaltige große Amken. And he learns Torah with a gewaltige Amkes, and it's very clear to him, the Torah. His friend of his, my friend a große Amken, who's a große Amken, so I'm also an Amken. So I learn deeply, but I don't have the clarity at all. If I use up that jumble, so I use all kind of fancy Londonish words without really understanding what I'm Pikudi Hashem Yeshorim Samchei Lev. You learn Torah, you have the Gעשמאק, Samchei Lev, Gdoli. Bochum come, they say, Lamaisa, I don't have the Samchei Lev. I don't have such a Gעשמאק in learning. It's mishved learning sometimes. What's the pshat? Pikudi Hashem Yeshorim Samchei Lev. Everything should be. You should open up the Gemara, start to learn, and simcha. And it's not like that. If you find Bochum come with a tiny, it's geht nicht. There are very many obstacles which can cause the lack of Samchei Lev. I want to speak about a few things which are necessary in order there should be the Samchei Lev. Number one, Shaitan in Mesechus Avos and Haschen Atmecha Lilmod Torah. Prepare yourself, be metaking yourself, Lilmod Torah. So Rabbeinu Yonah says pshat in that. What is Haschen Atmecha Lilmod Torah? L'ma'et b'tanugim. L'ma'et b'tanugim. Kidei sheyilmod Torah harbe. כמו ששנינו, כך ידעך של תורה, פס למלך תאכל, פס למלך, מים במשורה, small amount, תשתה, ועל האורס תישן, and you sleep on the floor, וחי צעד תחיה, ובתורה אתה אומר. That's the מים בתענוגים. What's the pshat? Why do you have to be mayim b'tanugim? So yes, you could think that means that if you have tanugim, you have to have money. If you have to have money, you have to work. If you have to work, you can't learn. No, the pshat is ki mayim b'tanugim lo tishkoim b'seichei chochma. We have to understand that Torah is ruchnius, a davar ruchni. A davar ruchni. The Maral says. Chazal say in the Aflam Chesed Nedolim that Moshe Rabbeinu, Kodesh Baruch Hu taught him the Torah, and he forgot one day. Another day, he taught him and he forgot. 40 days, he taught him and he forgot, till he gave him a matana. Maral's mazuk was Torah is a davar ruchni. Davar ruchni doesn't automatically fit into a davar gashmi. But Kodesh Baruch Hu gave him a matana. But this matana has certain limitations. If a person is too much gashmius, even after the matana, the Torah will not go in. If the Torah is not part of you and does not go into you, and it's davar chitzoni to you, that Torah will never make simcha. The simcha of the Torah is if it becomes part of you. And if a person is too megushim, too gashmius, as Rabbeinu Yonah says, "Hamaba bi lo tishchei b'seichei." HaChochma, כמו שאומרו, סבור לשמן או פי ovo. It's a thick neck, it doesn't go in. That's the first point. We don't mean that the person because it's a fast go into tanesim. It means an abundance of gashmias. The person has to have the very, very best type of food, the very best type of ice cream, the very best type of anything in Gashmias, in all areas of Gashmias. If you meet Gashmias to a great gacshmius in a big degree, is a steer to Torah. So that's the first lesson a person has to know. That it's not enough to learn. There has to be, together with that, a certain lessening of the gashmius. Not to be a person that makes tanais. I'm not talking about that, but a certain degree of not super gashmius. That's the first lesson. The second point. Im ein derech eretz ein Torah, says in Chazal, in Ovis. Rabbeinu Yonah says pshat. Rotzaloymar, shetzorich tchilo l'taken es hamidos. First, a person has to metaken his midas. Ubezeh tishkain Torah olav. If a Torah could be go into a person that has midas toivus. She'eino shochenes la'olam b'guf she'eino ba'al midas toivus. If a person doesn't have the midas toivus, the guf does not take it. It's a guf which is a serious to Torah. Torah has to have a guf of midas toivus. V'lo sheyilmod ha-Torah v'achach yigach lo ha-midos, kivzui efshar. First has to be midas toivus, and develop the midas toivus, and then this Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu was zeicher to the madrege of his gewaltige madrege, that more than any other Novi, his madrege of Rabbeinu Yonah, the Chaim in Volozhin is Masber, was because of his anova. The madrege of anova, that brought upon the great madrege of Nevuah, the madrege that Moshe Rabbeinu had, was because of the anova. We see here this inyan that the anova, the inyan of anova, the midas toivus, and anova is the shayrish of midas toivus. That is what brought on the big madrege of ruchnius of Moshe Rabbeinu. And midas toivus doesn't mean on a superficial basis. It means midas with an amkus. A person can live a life and live and think that he's a gewaldige onov, and at the end of the day, when it comes to Neilam Emes, they'll show me he's the biggest Baal Gaiva, as the Mesilas Yesharim speaks about that. A person does not know from where. A person has to learn what are the simonim of midas lo-gerois. A person has to know that the Moshel Mekome, it's so posted by us. If a person insults me, I insult him back on the spot. And he doesn't realize this is the Koma. And the Koma is a result of Gaiva. Kas, we all know, is a result of Gaiva. Moida le'emes. A person cannot be moida le'emes. That's a result of Gaiva. A person always finds a fault in somebody. A person goes to a shir, here's a drasha. He'll always be the person to find a shtikla chsalin in the drasha. Instead of seeing the good in the drasha, he'll find the chsalin in the drasha. That's noch a simin, and that's noch a simin from Gaiva. Many simonim, if one will learn in Chayvas Alvovitz, Shara Kniyah, you'll see all the cheshbonis in the Shara Kniyah. What are the simonim that they are of Gaiva? Moida le'emes, mistapik b'muit, nena from a chaver. There are two people. All the time they're together, two chaverim. And one chaver gets a little bit higher than the other one. and he's jealous. Kinna. That's a chesron of gaiva. Kinna, nekoma, not moed al emes. Lo mefargen, vergent nicht. All of these are simonim. And a mensch that wissen, when we're talking about midas toivus, we're talking about midas toivus ba'amkus. To learn the chayvas alavavis, to know what are the shayrish of the midas. Oicha sadikim, also he tells you what are the teitzois from gaiva, the teitzois from anova, and in that way a person can see was benich. Mr. Shalom also speaks about it. That's the pshat. The person will see in himself that he's noikim, that if his friend gives him, if his friend stucks him, he has to stuck him back. That's the comment. He doesn't realize it's the comment. The comment is gaiva, and then he's missing an element that would allow him to, that Torah should go into him. He's missing that point. So that's the second point. A third point that a person has to know is what steht in der Rabbeinu Yoina in Ovos. Posik in steht, Yiras Hashem leiches das. Chochma und Musar avilim bozu. Yiras Hashem leiches das. Tchilas kol das. Before learning, before das, tilmoid v'naftrachol Yiras Hashem Yisborach. You have to have this Yiras Hashem Yisborach. Ki ha-chochma v'ha-musar, Torah and Musar, Avilim, people are not so good. Bozu, they're mavazer. They're not machshavit. She'ein lam yiras Hashem, if you have no yiras Shemayim, ein lam yikon beinayim. A person without yiras Shemayim could not have the real chshivas HaTorah. The chshivas HaTorah can only come with a person who has yiras Shemayim. A person will not be matzliach in Torah if Torah is not choshuv in your eyes, you'll never be zeichet to Torah. We would think, why not? It is also true what we would think, that if it's not really, if Torah is not a very choshuv thing in your eyes, so then, when a person learns, he won't put his whole mind into it. He won't hold of it. If he made a certain mistake, instead of looking to find the emes, he'll cover it up with some sort of fancy teretz, which really is not a good teretz, but he's not really so serious about the Torah. He's not so. If a person looks at Torah with the most important thing in my life is Torah, and therefore I'm learning. The person looks at it that my whole tachlis in life is only to be carved like Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's my whole tachlis, and the way to get to that madreg is primarily through Torah. So then Torah is choshev. But if a person does not look at his life, that his purpose in life is only to become carved like Kodesh Baruch Hu, he's missing that yiras Shemayim. If he's missing that yiras Shemayim, he's missing the chshivas HaTorah, because Torah is choshev to a person. If a person knows that my whole purpose in life is to become close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that Torah is the only way, the best way and the only way, limud HaTorah, is to reach that madrega, so Torah is very, very choshev to him. But if a person has no yiras Shemayim, missing yiras Shemayim, doesn't have that feeling that this is my tachlis in life, is that to come to reach the biggest madrega of Kivrei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Torah is not so choshev. And if Torah is not so choshev, or Rabbeinu Yoina says, a person will not reach the madregas of Torah. But he says why? V'lo tiskayim b'yotcha, v'nemar Nochalti eidoisecho ki sofsoin li bihemo. The reason why I'm zoichet the Torah, nochalti eidoisecho, that becomes part of me, because sofsoin li bihemo. It's a simcha for me, the Torah. And in order for Torah to be a simcha for me, I have to have hakashivas HaTorah. If I have chivas HaTorah, then I have the simchas HaTorah. So therefore, this is the third thing. The third thing which a person has to know is that in order for him, unter shashula, he can have midas, he can have mania from gacshmis, but it requires yiras shemayim. Unter shashula. Without the yiras shemayim, you cannot have the madrega of Torah that you have to have. These are the three ingredients: yiras shemayim, Menias Gashmias, Midas Toivis. Then a person because Hashem Yishom of Samchei Lev. But I must say a side thing here. Sometimes even then it won't be Mesamchei Lev, because there's another thing. A person has to learn Torah according to his seichel, according to his what he is, according to his madrega of Kishronis. Very often, a bocher has a friend. His friend is a gewaldige große Amkin, and he learns Torah with a gewaldige Amkis, and it's very clear to him the Torah. His friend of his, my friend a große Amkin, who's a große Amkin, so I'm also an Amkin. So I learn deeply, but I don't have the clarity at all. If I use up that jumble abisulas, I use all kind of fancy Londonshire words without really understanding what I'm saying. So how much hanoah could this person have? And what happens, this person learns as a year, noch a year, but by the third year it blows up. He's finished. But he sees that he's not getting anywhere. So that's my muzga. I feel that person is a tzaddik mit a midas toivis, mit gachmis aus, but if he's not learning the right way according to him, he also will not have. A person has to learn Torah lefi what you are, according to your kishronos. And also physically, a person can have a chava, but he can sleep 5 hours a night, and he goes weiter and gewaldig. No, darf ich euch suffer 5 hours a night. But I'm weaker. By me 5 hours a night, I'm halfway sleepy all day. So this person is halfway sleepy, and he's trying to learn. It's geitish. A person has to go according to his own koiches physically, and his own kishronos, what he has. If a person goes and learns the derech that he has with his kishronos and his physical abilities, and he's moneh from gachmius to a great extent, he has midas toivis, and he learned the midas toivis. He learned the chayvus levavus. He knows when he's falling into gaiva. He knows when he's making a comma, when he has the kinna. He knows that, and he has the yiras shemayim and the chivas HaTorah. It will be pikuvi yishor mesamchei lev. That's what a person has to have. I just want to finish with two maimorim. One maimer is from the Eliyahu Rabba, that Eliyahu Hanavi says he was talking to somebody, to the person he was talking to, Boesli Talmud Echod. She'eino boki ba'alocha. He wasn't so much matzliach in learning. V'omali, he told Eliyahu Hanavi, Oisikani b'divrei Torah. I'm learning, sitting and learning. Umechabed, have a chemda, umesaver, and have a taiva, umesaper, and I'm hoping. Im Torah tovor alai. I'm hoping I should start to steig. Ve'ein Torah bo alai. It's not going. That's the comes to Eliyahu Hanavi. He says it's not going. Omati loy, b'ni, loy zocho ish l'divrei Torah, elim kein moise nafshoy l'misa oleho. A person has to be ready to be moise nefesh. A person has to be moise nefesh after all is said and done that we spoke about. But a person has to be moist nefesh to push and push and push and push. Be moist nefesh the way there's be stated in Tanchume in Parshas Noach. So a person has to be b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha. He has to be ready to be moist nefesh in order to get Torah. After all is said. That's one mimer. The second mimer I wanted to mention, that we're talking about a person that wants to have to do all these things that we're talking about. And shver, it's making my life very miserable. I have to do this, and I have to do this, I have to be moneh from gashmias, so I'm used to having gashmias, and immediate sechmein. What's so bad if I give a shtok back to a person? It's taking away my whole derech hachayim. Ubezois halo noida, Rabbi Yisrael says. He odam le'omel yumad. The person's born le'amelus. Lilchoy milchemes mitzvah. To be leichem milchemes mitzvah. V'achoy v'olov. Lisyagea b'avodas Hashem. Loirak lishmoy ma'ashem tivoy meinichoy ma'atzmoy. Not to go along in life. Whatever, the normal way I go weiter, I learn, go to yeshiva, and then I go to higher yeshiva, and I go to Israel, and then I came back. I go according to normal. I'm going, and I learn the way normal. Mashu ksas kvedus laniach, when it's very, very difficult for me, I leave it go. Ki bozeh oifon, eino odom oived Hashem. If a person just lives normally without pushing himself, pushing, v'yuchal likorei chalila poilik oil. Yuchal likorei chalila poilik oil. Kashalo yiten shum yigil avodas Hashem yizvorach. Rabbi Yehuda does not mean you should break yourself. It means that you should just go along the way you go. You must have goals and push yourself to those goals. That's what the Rabbanians say. And what Eliyahu Novi told the Bochum, that you must be moist nefesh for Torah. That's why we have to think that all of these things of taiva, of midas, of Yerushalayim, it doesn't come so easy. It comes and not so hard. But it's not automatic. You must decide to do it and push yourself a little bit. It's not so hard, but not automatic. You must push yourself a little bit. If you push yourself a little bit, then you're over Hashem. But you can't just go along, Rabbi Yisrael is saying. You cannot just go along. You must decide certain goals and push yourself to those goals in a normal way. With Messiahs, with the Mashkiach, with the Rosh Hashiva, Messiahs with them, what exactly you should do. But just don't live a life of going along the way you're living. You must be Messiah. Then if a person is Messiah, and then L'Shem Shemayim, and those are the things we spoke, is the Sat of the Shemayim, will be Zeicha, so Pikuzi Hashem Yisharim B'Samchei Lev.